evidence of the pros and the cons. Ma'am,
look at me, ma'am.
Two teenage boys lured into a home in Louisville. What happened next was so brutal, investigators called it one of the most disturbing scenes they had ever witnessed. This is the 2016 case of Larry Ordway and Morris Gordon, and the suspects, Brice Rhodes, along with two juveniles, Angeline Carter and Jacor Taylor, a case that would later expand into even more violence.
I'm gonna keep talking because I don't want to have to see you back here for this.
You think a motherfucker can't find out where you live at? What you think at? Bitch, I don't give a fuck about none of that. I ain't do shit.
So you're saying you're gonna find out where I live at?
I don't give a fuck about none of that. You got family, I'll be out.
This case focuses on Brice Rhodes, who was charged with several counts of murder in Louisville, Kentucky.
Your job is not to worry about me. Your job is to do your job. And his job, his job is to worry about. Your job is to do your job, not to worry about me. That's what I'm saying. Well, I worry about me.
In May 2016, Brice Rhodes, along with two alleged accomplices, 15-year-old Angeline Carter and 17-year-old Jacor Taylor, was accused of brutally stabbing and torturing two teenage brothers to death. The victims, 14-year-old Larry Ordway and 16-year-old Morris Gordon, were later discovered in a vacant lot.
Those are kids. And it hasn't been that long. Because there's some shoe prints right here too. There's some good shoe prints.
Brice Rhodes was taken into custody and questioned by investigators, during which he initially denied any involvement in the crime.
Where they run away to? Like,
well, if we knew that, man, we wouldn't be here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I wish I could help. Knew where they was, you know.
However, one of his alleged accomplices, Angeline Carter, later admitted involvement to law enforcement officials.
He made my reach on his knees and I begged for forgiveness.
Carter said Rhodes tied up the two brothers, gagged them, and then stabbed them.
He tied them up. He tied them up with something. He tied his brother up. He made his brother sit in the bathroom. He made my reach on his knees and I begged for forgiveness. And like he put a toboggan over his head. Put a sock in his mouth.
In his statement, he explained in detail how Brice Rhodes disposed of the bodies.
You made you all stab him? So you and Corey stabbed him too? Alright, how many times do you think you stabbed him?
I stabbed him one time.
He also said that the deceased brothers had witnessed Brice Rhodes killed a man named Christopher Jones earlier that month.
He seen somebody just falling in the street, and his head rainbows like at the street, and shot him. And by Reese, he was a getaway driver, so he was driving.
During the trial proceedings, Brice Rhodes argued that the prosecution was attempting to wrongfully implicate him.
The prosecution is known for falsifying and altering documents about evidence. On May 24, 2016, an informant suspect, Anwan Carter, was detained and questioned. So he told detectives that allegedly a double homicide took place in my home, 763 North Height Avenue, apartment 2, Louisville, KY. So detectives called for a search warrant and searched my home at 21:18 hours into 22:11 hours. Okay, so during this search was 5 homicide officers and 1 CSU officer. They searched for hours. They applied Blue Star chemical solution all throughout the house. They looked and looked and they found no such evidence of any type of crime. In fact, officers stated how clean the apartment was. They also stated that the carpet had cleaning solution on it, and yet nothing was still found when they applied Blue Star chemical reaction.
He also claimed that law enforcement had planted evidence in his residence.
So they clear the scene and they leave for 1 hour and 20 minutes. They leave for 1 hour and 20 minutes. They come back and they research the home at 23:56 until 02:14 hours. Now all of a sudden they claim to find blood on the carpet.
To make matters worse, Brice Rhodes' attorney abruptly withdrew from the case, citing an alleged spitting incident between them. As a result of that incident and his prior record of misconduct in prison, Brice Rhodes was restrained in a chair and fitted with a spit mask during his next court appearance.
The Mr. Rhodes. You can just bring him up right here.
I have to come out like this for?
I think you know why. You know exactly why. Now, listen, stop talking. You have been... Are you done? You've been charged in the 4th degree. I'm going to keep talking because I don't want to have to see you back here for this.
But that did not stop his misconduct. After a profanity-filled rant, Rhodes tried to intimidate Judge Amber Wolf by threatening to find out where she lived.
What you think that? None of that. I ain't do.
So you're saying you're going to find out where I'm out?
None of that. You got something, I'll be out.
Okay. You've been charged with assault in the 4th degree, minor injury, terroristic threatening in the 3rd degree, with physical contact. New charges. I'm entering a plea of not guilty on your behalf. Would you like me to read the arrest warrant to you?
No, I'm not good.
These threats led to Brice Rhodes facing additional charges for terroristic threats and for intimidating participants in the legal process.
Ms. Shoring, that was a threat against the court. I think that I'm asking the county attorney's office to take that into account and consider what to do with that.
But that's not all. In his next court appearance, Rhodes accused another judge of having an intimate relationship with the prosecutor.
I don't know if y'all got some type of sexual relationship going on or what y'all got going on, but I'm definitely gonna speak my mind.
Detective Detelli and I have no sexual relationship.
Now I'm talking about you and a prosecutor over here, sir. You denied all my motions. Every motion I filed, you didn't deny it.
I'm pretty sure I've denied the vast
Every
majority
motion I
of pro
filed.
se motions.
He went so far as to accuse the judge of racism, leaving his own attorney visibly shocked.
Are you some type of racist? Or y'all got some type of sexual relationship going on? Which one is it?
Or are you just wrong in everything that you made a motion for?
Are you a secret Ku Klux Klan member?
No, sir, I'm
Is that what you really are?
No.
Okay.
Brice Rhodes quickly earned a reputation for being difficult and made few allies in the courtroom.
But then another part of it is, if we have a concern, the pros and the cons. Ma'am,
Look at me.
A split-second reaction, fueled by overwhelming grief, seeing Brice Rhodes smirking and appearing dismissive. The victim's mother broke, reacting instantly in the courtroom.
Lock me up! Lock me up! Lock me up! Let me get to him! He's sick!
Ain't nobody gonna sit in court and hold their composure and have a demon turn around and laugh about them killing your kids. It's just not gonna work.
This case is not just about what happened. It is about how the law responds to extreme violence. Under Kentucky law, charges like murder, kidnapping, and aggravated assault carry the most severe penalties. And in this case, they resulted in multiple life sentences for Brice Rhodes. For the juvenile co-defendants, the legal outcome is different. Because of their age, sentencing is shaped by both state law and U.S. Supreme Court rulings, which limit the harshest penalties. While their cases are less public, they still faced serious felony charges and received significant sentences. But even when the legal process is complete, the impact of a crime like this does not end in the courtroom. It stays with the families and the community long after the verdict. This is Texas Safety Watch, where we break down what legally matters and what does not. Stay aware, stay safe, and we will see you in the next case.